There we go. So, ladies, again, thank you to Laura McAdams, Deborah Booth, Lizette Hernandez. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with us your strategies and what's been successful for you and your business, and just showing that appreciation to the people who already like and trust you. That's like huge. So honestly, we didn't even discuss who was going to go first. So it's up to you guys. Who wants to start us off?
Flip a coin.
I know, right? Lizette, you want to make it first? Go for it.
Sure. All right. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Lizette Hernandez. I'm here in the East Orlando market. I've been in the business since, I think about 13, 17 years. I was a mortgage broker first. Then I transitioned to become a real estate agent. And so today they're talking about closing gifts. So I just want to talk a little bit about my business. So I typically close about 32 transactions, 35 transactions a year, and all my business is referral based. I don't really pay leads. I've tried to do that and it doesn't work. So then I go back to doing my referral business, which is calling my clients and just loving on them through personally. So I know some of the questions that they asked us to talk about was, when do we talk about closing gifts. The way I do it is I'm not into like getting a basket and giving everybody a generic cookie cutter closing gift. So what I do is when I do a buyer consult, I always like to do a consult with my clients first, and I ask a lot of questions on the front end. I ask even like, hey, we're gonna ask. I make it a joke. Hey, I want to talk about your family. So ask some questions. I just want to get to know you guys, and that's kind of like the excuse. But in those questions, I want to know about them, because as a closing gift, for example, what I've done is I give them like a gift certificate to get a family portrait, right? I talk to a photographer, I have a predisposition price that I arrange, and then I prepay a certain amount. So when I close on my client, I give them a gift certificate so they can have a 30-minute photo session with their whole family. They can bring their dog, they can bring their grandma, they can bring anybody they want. They have 30 minutes to do a photo session, I tell them. People love that because when they move into a home, the first thing they want to do is decorate it and have something, to represent their family. It's their home. That's something that I do with every single client. Cost effectiveness for me, my average commission is typically, the price points have gone up, but typically I look at it this way. I put in $50 on a photo session that I might spend with them, but I made $6,000, right? I made $7,000. It's like a no-brainer, right? But again, for me, it's more on a personal level, what I like to do. Sometimes it just depends. If I see that there was something very special to them, like if they're pregnant or something like that, I might do something that they were, maybe they need it as a gift. They have a gift registry or something like that. I won't tell them. I will go into their gift registry and I will get something for the baby or something. I've done that before. I've also done where I've given a client, I gave him a surprise where I painted the baby room. Okay, so I actually went in there and hired somebody to paint the baby room. So when they went in, they saw it already painted. I kind of already found out the colors and things like that. But those are some of the things that I typically do every single time. How do I keep track of it? I do have a spreadsheet. I do have a spreadsheet for each client. And then I put at the end what I spent on that transaction. I learned that from my old days at KW. My coach used to tell me to track everything. My personality is very out there. Somebody has to corral me in and organize. So my coach was always on me. You need to keep track. So I do have a spreadsheet for each client where at the end I will put what I've spent on a transaction just to keep track. It's not that I monetize everything. It's just I want to know how much I've spent because I'm one of those. I will go happy and want to spend money on people, because I love them. And then, I have to keep track just to keep myself in line with everything. So I just want to start out with that. So I'll let you guys jump in too. Oh, Laura, you're muted.
Hey everyone, how are you? My name is Laura McAdams, and I am based out of St. Cloud. Most of my business is here in St. Cloud, but I do branch out to the Orlando areas and then of course to the Disney areas because that's very popular these days. It's pretty crazy out there. Now I've been in the business about 7 years now. Started working on my referral-based business. Actually, it's quite funny because that's how I met Lizette and a couple other people. Because I used to enjoy going to the bolds of KW, because that's what it was very educational, learning based, and that's where I started to learn how to take care of my database. So by year 3, I started to really tap into my referral-based business, and now I'm straight referrals or sign calls from any listings that I get. So I put everything up here for myself. So for appreciation gifts, I like to do kind of quarterly gifts right now. I just got into this new program that I'm trying out, so I don't really have to think of it. It's called Top of Mind, and it's with Client Giant. And basically what we do is pay $99 per client, and they're going to get 4 gifts throughout the year. So quarterly, they're going to receive a gift from Client Giant that they've set apart for those specific clients. So then that way I don't really have to think about that. So that's something new I implemented this year. So that way, they're receiving something and I don't have to think about it, but I do receive an email letting me know, hey, the gifts are going out, just to let you know. And then they send us a photo of what they're sending. So it's a really cool little system that I've just run into. And I'm starting to use that also for my listings. So basically they're going to start giving gifts to my sellers throughout the selling process. And then they have a closing gift as well it's a very personalized gift for them. So it helps out with the seller's gifts at the end, because I have such a hard time thinking about what to give my sellers, because buyers are so easy to put a big old basket together for them. But for sellers, I always have a hard time. But I usually get them like a big old thing of chocolates, a couple of bottles of wine, and I usually get them a good gift card that they can choose about 4 restaurants with. So then that way they can take their family out to dinner, or I do sometimes like a little movie basket and put candies, popcorn, and of course a couple of movie tickets in there for them. So then that way they can go and enjoy the movies. But once COVID hit, that kind of ended for a little bit, but now it's coming back. So I'm starting to do that again. Let me see. Another thing, how do I keep track of my database? Well, I have everything in KV Core now. So everything is set on a reminder for making my calls. The hashtag thing, George, it's finally in place. So I hope you're proud of me. But I get reminders every morning on who to call. So then that way it's just easier for me to call 3 or 4 clients in the morning and just say, hi, how are you? For me, it's very easy to just call them and say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything you guys need? Please don't be afraid to just call me and let me know what you all need, because that's what makes them think of you not as just a real estate agent and you just close a transaction with them, but that makes them feel like you're part of their family and you really care about them and you're being genuine. And it's very important to be authentic with your clients. It's not just, I'm closing this transaction and let's move on to the next one. It's all about making them feel like they're special and that you really truly care about them and their kids, and just being there for them throughout the year, even if it's just for something small that they might need for their home. So that's what I do. And then also I have my, of course, your assistant, she helps me a ton. Without her, I don't know where I would be. So that helps if your business is at that level, having somebody there to set your reminders, your appointments in your calendar, sending you reminders. Hey, did you make the calls? Did you do this? Did you do that? And then of course she had my spreadsheet of my clients to make sure I have all my birthdays for them and their children, because their children matter. They matter more than they do. So when they receive a little box of brownies for their kids on their birthday, they send me pictures of their kids enjoying those brownies. So for me, that's a very big thing. And it really makes a huge difference in your business, because even if it's not something that comes right away, it will in due time. And that's why 7 years now, and I'm literally 100% referral based. And it's pretty consistent. So I would get 2 to 3 closings just from referrals. And then of course, anything else that I get aside, like my listings and things of that nature. So one more thing I'd like to share is I use AM cards because that also has reminders for their birthdays and house anniversaries and anything else that you want. And you set it up in their system to email you the reminder a week prior to their birthday. So you actually get their card there on time, and their gift, if you want to tag on a gift card or brownies or a Starbucks card, they have the option on there, and you can send that out to them, and it's always in your system, and it's pretty easy once you have everything in there. So that's what I've got.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Because Laura triggered one of my thoughts. Thank you, Laura, because my brain just
That's what I'm
processed.
here for.
For the sellers, I started doing this when when we do the listing pictures, my photographer does like this, they do this video and they have they do this mini video. So I do a little package like giving to them, and I do a little, hey, I just want to give you this keepsake. It's just videos, but you can also give that to them in a way of remember their home. Some of them cry and they feel kind of very emotional. So they've lived there for 30, 40 years, whatever. So I just want to put that out there. You can use your listing photos and things like that for sellers, because I talked about buyers. But, like she said, we forget about sellers. Like, what do we give a seller? And Laura made a good point. But those are things that I've been doing too with sellers. Because sometimes, I don't know, if they're going to buy another property, maybe I'll give them the Ring camera. I'll do some things like that, depending on what they're looking for. Like I said, it's like she said, make it personal and ask questions. Sometimes they love the little dog. I don't know, do something with the little dog, or, find that it is what they will remember you by, because everybody has something that they love, and that if you touch that part that they're, that's very important in their lives, they're going to remember you. But I just wanted to put that little note before I forget. Okay. All right. I'll be quiet now.
There's actually a question that was asked of you, and that is, what are in the gifts that you send out? Those automatic ones, what's in those?
They have their particular ones set out. One is it's like little bags, I guess, for traveling, just small stuff like that. I know they have like the personalized cutting board, and I don't remember the other two off the top of my head. I'd literally have to pull out my my email and get it out of there. But it's just small little things that they could use in their home. Very cute things.
Okay. I want to add something to this, and then don't think for a second, Gina. I see your hand up. I'll get right to you. I want to add something real quick. First off, AM Cards, the link is in there for AM Cards. It is a card service. Tom talks about this regularly, where you can literally take a picture out of Facebook. It's a cool one, put it on the card and have it sent to them. And it takes about a minute while you're in your car, pulled over, not driving, to do all of that. And it's really neat. You can add to that brownies. Hey, I wanted to wish your daughter a happy birthday. These brownies are my gift to her. Please don't eat them. It's a wonderful way at which to do. There's different levels of the service at which you can use, and it never goes away. It's not like you invest $20 a month and then it goes away. It actually carries over. I've got like $500 in mine, so I paused it for now, but I can still use it as much as I want to. And I want to share something with everybody too. More than anything, what you're giving away as your gift has to do really one thing. It has to make sure that it's something they're going to use and not just dispose of. And it probably should be something that you are going to have branded. This is what we do almost all the time. We give away this ozone machine. This thing is the absolute bomb, because I cook fish all the time. And on this right here is a little sticker we'll put, because we think you're amazing and your house should smell as great as it is, something like that, whatever you want to put in there. And it's literally a label sticker you can put on it. This is a phenomenal closing gift. I love this. It is the favorite thing that we give that in a mirror, or excuse me, a video camera, video screen that works too. Just some suggestions. Remember, put your brand on there, because when they use it, they want to see you. And it's not, hi, call me for real estate. It has to be something about them, because it's a personal relationship, and that's where your referrals come from, not from the, hi, call me about real estate, you're a real estate agent for life. That actually works real well. But on this one, brand it personally, because it's a sticker you put on there. Gina, you had a question.
Yes, I have a lot of clients that are in the 55 plus neighborhoods.
Mhm.
They have downsized. They have every kind of like kitchen appliance. They have every kind of stuff for their cabinets. They have everything. And I have a closing I just did the other day, and the lady never saw the unit. She's just came into town. I'm supposed to have lunch with her on Thursday. I have zero idea what to get her. She's in her late 60s. She has everything and she has no children and she's not married. So I'm like, oh no. And I've been driving myself crazy thinking, what do I get? What do I get? And so does anyone have a suggestion for me with somebody who has basically all she needs? It's not a big unit. It's a condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
Maybe a spa day or some kind of like
Nope.
self-care treatment. Or
George,
something.
what was that?
Hold on. I'll show you. This is called Pixstar. This is a 10-inch video camera and it rolls through your images. This one happens to be set up because I was interested in hopping on this call and I thought this would be kind of cool. So what I do is I set it up ahead of time. This is what it looks like. Little camera.
Okay.
Sits like this and it rolls through their images. Now, here's the cool part. I set it up for them, which takes around 5 or 6 minutes, and I have access to be able to email into their Pixstar pictures now and again. So we take the photo from the house. If they're buying a house, we'll give them this as a closing gift. We'll put the photo in Canva, and then we'll frame it out. So it's an image, but it says, "You are amazing. We loved supporting your dreams, Jackie and George." That image is now already in here. I send it to them. They upload their own, but I can also send them a message that shows up on their screen. They can delete it, but it's, "We wanted to wish you a happy Easter to our favorite family. We have access to it." This is like $95 for this thing. I'll find the link for it and put it in the
Okay.
chat as well.
Okay, great. Because this
That's
is
great for old people.
It's hard. I mean, it's really hard when they have everything and they're downsizing. She doesn't need anything and she doesn't want clutter.
Okay, so this is ideal for any of those circumstances. And in this box, because I open it up and I set it up, we put a note in there. I would suggest what you may want to consider, all of us would consider, is a personalized note in there that says, "Hey, you can give this email address to your entire family and your family can send in family photos for you whenever they want to." It's
Okay.
How cool is that? Kids can send it to their parents. We can drop in pictures of your grandkids, which show up and the parents are like, oh, they have to approve them, of course. But it's a really, really neat thing to give away. And I'll pull up the price. I'll have it for you guys in the chat in just a minute. I would suggest strongly look at that as an option.
Now,
too.
one more thing on that. This lady has no extended family and no children and no husband.
Maybe get her a gun.
I'm telling you, I know, and she was happy as anything. She never saw her condo, and she came down and she called me, and she's in love with it. She's so happy. She's so happy. But I want to get her something. And yes, I like that idea you said for a lot of my other clients, but this one has no one.
Get her
So
the ozone machine. Seriously, let's move on this one, Gina. Get her
Okay.
the ozone machine. It'll stop anything she's cooking from smelling in the house. I
Okay.
just put in the link, the Pixstar, and there's a lot of them on Amazon. You can pick the different sizes. I go for one that's a little more inexpensive, smaller one, but there's big ones too. They are phenomenal, but they are about $150, so they're not inexpensive. But boy, does that gift keep giving! And that's
And
you
Gina,
remembered.
Gina, for my clients that are like that, and I literally have zero things to get them, and my client similar in her late 70s, bought a condo, doesn't need anything in the world. Are you in the South Florida area? But you can do this anywhere, but there's a nonprofit called Sweet Dream Makers. And for $150, if you donate $150, it's like, they're very simple. You donate $120, you can donate a crib. If you donate $150, it's enough to donate a bed. And then I did that in celebration of her new home. So if you just, any nonprofit, you can do this anywhere. Go to their website, select crib, bed, however much you want to send, and then put it's in celebration of her. They'll send a tribute card to her from you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I was a very good point, Jessica. You know, that's why if you guys are listening and you're new agents, it does matter at the beginning, like I mentioned, in your buyer consults, when you're listing, ask questions, you know, even ask me, hey, if something were to happen, you have an emergency contact. Because guess what? If you want to ask the other person in their family without them knowing, that, you know, when you ask these questions in the beginning, you don't have to call them to ask them what they like if you don't know. You can always call a family member or do something different. But I ask questions at the beginning, so that way that'll give you a notion. Because I know people, they have everything. If you ask them, oh, I don't need another Danny, but if maybe their cause is for, like, I don't know, saving the Labradors. I don't, just give you an example, saving the Labradors, and you know, if they love Labradors, well, you know what, you're gonna get them as a gift or like a donation. That might make a difference with them. So good point with Jessica about that. But just ask a lot of questions. I've learned this from top agents, even when I was at my other company. A lot of them ask a lot of questions on the front end, so that way they're already ready from the beginning, set up from the beginning for all these things.
Gina, another suggestion, maybe like a spa day or a self-care day, manicure, pedicure. You know how these older ladies, they like to do things like that for themselves. So especially since she's got no one, anybody like family, kids or anything.
That's also great.
That's something they would love to enjoy.
Okay, thanks.
Hey y'all, I'm Deborah Booth. So I've been in it. This is my second year, just flipped over to second year. So I'm not as experienced as the last two agents or most of you, I guess, but I feel like I am doing fairly well. I started out with Op City leads and started out selling land. And as you know, that's not very expensive. So I wanted to get into a higher market. So what I done is I joined Facebook groups. I actually got into Airbnb groups, VRBO groups, and short-term rental, long-term real estate groups. And what I've been able to do is get connected with investors that are moving to my area, looking to buy cabins that they can flip into Airbnbs or VRBOs themselves. So doing that, this year, I've started off great. I've got 15 investors I'm working with. All of them are $500,000 and up approved. I actually have 5 under contract currently. So thanks to GPS and EXP, that's where I'll start. But being with the investors, what I do is I try to gear my closing gifts to what they're buying. So if they're buying a cabin and it's decked out in bears, I'm going to Hobby Lobby and I'm going to look in the mountain area of Hobby Lobby and get the bear decor, things they can hang on their wall, things that look cute that may go with the mountaintop scene. I'm also hitting up local shops, things like chainsaw carved bears. We have a lot of guys here that cut trees and they carve bears out of trees with a chainsaw. It's pretty neat. So I've bought a few of those. We also have saws. You all are familiar with hand saws. Here we paint them. So I've also bought some of those to give out. I have a cabin right now under contract that's decked out in Americana theme. So I'm looking for a bear wearing a red, white, and blue dress or something in that theme to go with this cabin. So all of mine, I try to gear to what they're buying. Some of them are buying lake houses. Once again, I go to Hobby Lobby for that. They have a lake house area of Hobby Lobby that fits perfectly. And it has cute decor that says lake life and different things. And I've sent those out as well. My clients really seem to love them. I actually have a text recently from last week, and they were over the moon, blown away by what they got. They're just like, oh my God. What was the exact thing? He said, oh my God, I just received a box from you. Amazing, all in caps. He says, it's as if you knew me and my taste. I heart you, exclamations, and there's 5 exclamations. So that is the kind of feedback that I'm getting on it. The way that I keep up with them is I keep my receipts and I write their name and the address that they're closing on the receipt so that I can keep up with it myself. And that's just for my tax advisor here. I keep all of them in a Ziploc bag until the end of the year and it's time to claim. And then I go through and I put them all in a spreadsheet for her. I do have some pictures I'm going to drop in the chat that shows some of the things that I have given out. Here recently, when I mail them out, because most of my closings are virtual, so I've been mailing my gifts to them. I just choose a box, I fluff it up with some fancy paper, I stick the gifts down in there, and then I throw in 2 business cards that they can hand out to help refer me. And then I also give them a magnet that I have created that has a lot of referred business on it. It has a local plumber, it has an electrician, it has a woodcutter, a tree cutter in case they have branches near their roof that needs taken down. but it's got all kinds of local people that I can personally refer to them in case they need it, with them being states and states away. So I feel like that helps. Just trying to think, is there anything that I missed or any other questions? So I did put, I'm using Hobby Lobby mostly, and that is just to save money. I'm sure you guys have one down there, and they're great because every day it seems like it's a different special. One day it's half off flowers, one day it's half off decor, one day it may be half off your bedding stuff. So I encourage you to get with your local Hobby Lobby, find out their days for their sales so that you can also save money and you can send out wonderful gifts that way. One of the properties that I've closed recently, it closed a week or two ago, is really unique for me because it took me back to my land and my knowledge. However, it had a 100-year-old house on it. They're not going to be keeping the home. They are going to be selling the old wood and letting someone else restore it in a different part of town. So they're going to be building a new home on this property. What I done is I went through the home. My husband went with me because they wanted us to find the well for them. Now, the well that we were looking for was a super old well. It was one that was dug down into the ground, and it had the bucket that you literally had to lower down into the well and then bring the bucket back up. That's what these people sent me to go find. So I took my husband with me. We went out there. We took the well markers, the blue ones. We also took orange tape. We did find where the well was. However, it's not that kind of well anymore. It's been filled in with a bunch of dirt. However, all of their dishes were around it. They had mason jars around it. They had a really old, I know a lot of you have probably read what Rich Guy, Poor Guy. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is what it's called. The guy talks about in the book how as a kid, he walked around collecting toothpaste things from the 40s because they were made of metal and he could redeem them for money as a kid. It was unique for me being born in the 80s to go to this property and find one of these old metal toothpaste things. So I collected that and also have a bleach bottle. It's a Clorox bottle, brown. It had liquid in it. We poured the liquid out. It does have the cap, so it's full there. But the coolest thing that I found was a 100-year-old article. The article was from all the way back during, we're assuming, World War II, because it was April 23rd of 1943. It ended up being an article. The topic was something about when the werewolf was on his way to Tokyo. People waved as the werewolf was on his way to Tokyo. So I was intrigued and I read the article. Come to find out, that werewolf they were talking about was a bomber plane going to Tokyo to help fight. So as the bomber plane went up, everyone's standing on the side of the road and waving at this bomber plane going up. So I took that article and I framed it and gave it to my clients as a gift. They were blown away. They absolutely loved it, told me I'm the best agent in the world, and how they're going to highly recommend me to all of their friends and family. I want to go ahead and drop these pictures in the chat. And if anybody has any questions, feel free.
Deborah, that's awesome. Somebody asked to have your email dropped in the chat. If you don't mind doing that, please do. They were inquiring.
I did
about
it.
Absolutely. I think Tiffany did.
I did.
This is my first name dot last name at exprealty.com.
Y'all remember too, we can find anybody you want. If we're part of the same brokerage, you can use the chat and just search by somebody's name and pull them up and then send them a message just like it is on Facebook. Anybody that's got some closing gift ideas, if you're not willing to share them, which I totally understand, put them in the chat box. Love to hear what you have to say. Love to see what you give as closing gifts, because all of us need ideas. I mean, it's Deborah's gone, I think, a really next level by, really personalizing it. And truthfully, that little extra effort is going to make a big deal. Laura's doing the same thing. Y'all notice that it's how do we personalize this, make it about them, using the photos like Lizette was talking about, and incorporating those photos into a photo, a framed picture. It's unbelievable. But remember, when you're doing this, what's going to stick around long? Bottle of wine is great. I'm a raving fan for wine, but does that have longevity? Is it going to be used? Some of you will see the knives from Cutco that's got your name on it. That's terrific, but standalone, probably not. Personalize it, but will it have shelf life? Will it be around for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? And if it's going to be around, it's probably a better gift because you will continue to pop into their head. And that's the mission statement.
You know, one thing, George, you mentioned, I forgot to mention too, it's just because mine are very personal. I have a lot of things that I've done, but one thing that I do too, I love to give plants. I know it sounds very simple, but you know why? A lot of people that have plants in their home, like they will not let it die. If you give them a plant, they're going to keep it. Every time they see that plant, they're going to remember you, right? If you gave them that plant, because it's not something they're going to throw away. They have to take care of it and, you know, kind of give it some water, feed it, put it soil, all that. And I've done that too. And I still go to people. I actually gone to a house and I see the plant right in the front of the house where they have it still. They're like, oh, do you remember the plant? Same with Hobby Lobby. Deborah talked about, I've given people like a nice scripture or something on a, like a, not a friend, what do you call that? Like a, ay Dios mío, my Spanglish.
Monogram?
Yeah, like a portrait.
Something with the letter on it?
Yeah, it has like a scripture on it and they put it on the wall, like a portrait, right? Or what do you call that? So I've actually went to a client's house that I sold the parents' home, and I went to the daughter to do the closing, and they still had it in the front door, still hanging the gift, like right in the front when I walk in, you know? So things like that, like George said, they remember you and they still have it on. They can't just easily throw it away, because a bottle of wine, we drink that in like 30 minutes. Well, some of us, you know, 30, 40, 50 minutes. But after all the other stuff that stays around the house, they're not going to throw it away, right? If you give them things like that.
Very true.
So there's a lot of great suggestions that are coming up in the chat. So if y'all take a look at them, I love, and I'm just going to call out one of them, personalized last name monogram to hang in their home. It could be wood, it could be plastic. It looks just like that. Thank you very much. That is awesome, Elizabeth. And something like that sticks around for a while, and they flash back to you because you were the gift giver. And that's really kind of a mission statement for us. This is terrific. Hey, this is a shameless, not plug, but request. I'm going to put up a poll for everybody, and I'd love your feedback. It talks about the frequencies in which we do these calls. We've had a couple people bring some questions up. If you get a chance, please just answer the poll for me as best you can. Give me your honest opinion, because I need it. I'll put it up in just a second. But Karen, you had something you wanted to add?
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know, in case you don't already, there is a huge Facebook group called Ear for Each Other. It was created by one of the furloughed Disney employees, and they have over 200,000 members. Now, if you weren't furloughed, you can't advertise your services on there, but what they do have are a lot of unemployed, some have been reemployed, but very artistic Disney employees who can create something so unique for customers. I've used them a few times. A lot of good bakers and personalized cookies and things like that. But my best one has been an artist who does you send him a picture and he'll do a hand-drawn in color elevation of a home. And if you have one that's particularly beautiful and they just love it, he'll draw it. It's frameable. And on my last one I did, it was a retired couple who had to move back up north, and they just loved their home here, but had to leave. And they're huge Disney fans. So he drew their home and put a hidden Mickey in it.
Nice.
And they were just overwhelmed. They loved it. But it's called Ear for Each Other. And I do like to support them. You get some great ideas and could, possibly meet new customers, but that's not what it's for. But just wanted to throw it out there.
Love it.
I have a
Very much.
silly idea. It wouldn't be what you would give as the gift, obviously, but I've done this in the past and people get the biggest kick out of it. I would send, you know how you can go to the store and they would have the kids' bouncy balls for like $3 in a bin, and I would write on it, hope you're having a ball in your new home. And you take it to the post office just like that. You don't need to package it or anything. People think that is the coolest thing. And oftentimes the post office has trouble delivering it. So they have to go knock on the door. And the postal person is cracking up. It's just a silly thing that you can do. And if they have kids, they're going to love it even more.
Thank you for sharing, Julie. I think some of us are going in on the chat as well and reading the conversation that's in there as well. Let's read some of these. Holly, for anyone who's not reading the chat or anyone who's driving, I'll read them out. Holly said, one of those people that doesn't like monogram or signs. Let's see, Steph says that she is not either. She doesn't do the personalized. If it doesn't match aesthetic, she does not want to display it. Holly did ask, how much are you guys spending on gifts?
I'll
And then
jump
Steph
in
said,
on
no,
that
like
one.
clients.
On the gift thing for mine, the things that I buy at Hobby Lobby, they're usually around $30, but half off makes them around 15. So I'm able to pick up a couple different things there. The hand saws that I buy that are painted, those are $30. They're hand done. The bears cut out a chainsaw. Those can get expensive depending on the size that you get. But starting at the small ones, they start out around $50. So per person, per couple, per family, I usually spend about 100, I would say.
It all depends. Sometimes it depends if they've got kids. It depends. I mean, everything is all variable, but minimal is like about 100, 150. But I've gone pretty high on some of the gifts. So, and then of course the stuff throughout the year, which right now each one is at 99. And I think I put about 21 clients on that program out of my client list, which is about 121. But I put, basically I kind of separated my client list. So I have some VIP clients and things of that nature. So right now I put my VIP clients on that. But as time goes, of course, I'll continue to add each and every one. So, and then also sometimes for holidays, like right now I'm already planning my, just sending out a gratitude card because middle of the year is getting here. And I send out a card from my AM cards to all my clients, just letting them know that I'm grateful to have them in my life. And if, for any reason they need to reach out and they need me for anything aside from, just anything for their home, like personally in general, because some of them I'm pretty close with and our kids are kind of play together and things like that. So I just like to do extra above the average thing that any realtor does, because it just makes the relationship that much better and it strengthens the relationship so much more. So even once in a while, like now I'll do like a slide dial and I do like a voice recording just to say hello. If I don't want to make a call, I'll send it out to the whole thing. It's like a mass call and it leaves it on their phone as a recording. And then before you know it, like 20 of them call me back. They're like, I'm sorry I missed your call. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. But at least they know I'm there and I made that extra call. And then during the holiday times, I always prepare something small and personal, like the Christmas time. And then all my local ones, I have somebody that drops off a small little gift packet. I still have one from this year that I did.
And Chris and Daryl Noonan, we see your hand. We are going to call on you in just a bit.
So Hobby Lobby is the spot because I love that store myself. This is a small little like gift bag and I stuffed it with their Christmas card. I had a cocoa bomb made. And then of course I had my personalized pens this year made, stuck one of those in there. And then I had like a little ornament made for them. And I just stuck that in and I dropped these off personally during Christmas time this year. And I do that every year, something small, something different. And I usually try to involve some of the local people here in town that have creative ideas during the holidays to include in the little gift that I drop off and have them put their information on there to help their business grow as well. Because we can always support local and they always love it. And they send me like this year, I don't know how many cards I got of their kids enjoying the cocoa bomb and their cup of cocoa by the Christmas tree. So those are very special moments. And for them, it's like, it means the world to them, even though it's nothing that's extravagant. I mean, I think I spent like maybe $6, $7 a bag and that I just dropped it off and that was it. So.
Very good. Chris or Daryl, because you guys are awesome in a team, but I don't know who had their hand raised. Do you still have a question? Because then you took your hand down.
Good morning. No, I was just wanted to share, not on the same level as closing gifts per se, but just kind of a heartfelt staying in touch kind of a thing that we did for Easter. We used Instacart and shopped through Publix and sent Easter lilies and little chocolate bunnies and for the kids. We made sure there were enough for those that had children. Each one had a little bunny. So that was just to stay top of mind. We also sent that to not just our buyers and sellers, but some of our top tradespeople that we've worked with that we wanted to just say thank you.
That's a good idea. The Instacart thing. Okay,
I
cool.
will jump in and let you guys know, I'm not only getting the closing gifts for the clients. One thing I've learned due to these calls was to also get gifts for a co-agent. So I ran inside to grab these real quick because I have 2 coming up. So these are real small books. They're by John Maxwell, but How Successful People Lead. This is another one, How Successful People Grow. There's a whole selection of them. He has How Successful People Win. So I've been buying these and they're literally $10 to $13. Inside them, I put them a Starbucks card. I give them the magnet I was telling you guys about with all the different businesses on them. Because whether they're using me or not, having these other businesses is key for them too, to be able to reach out to someone in town. And then I give them a personalized little message inside the book. So it is truly to them.
Very nice. Thank you. Alina, you have your hand up, and then Jessica.
Good morning, everyone. So one of the ideas for gifts for at the closing, Deep and I, we always order gift baskets. Publix next to my house does custom gift baskets. So is the Fresh Market. So basically you just call them and tell them, look, this couple is 35 years old. They have 2 children, one is 5, one is 7, and then they'll put a toy in it. So fruits, fresh fruits are a must. We let them know that they have to put fresh fruits, and they put some chocolate, cookies, wine, whatever we tell them, so they make it super custom. And it's super beautiful. It's like big, they make it like nicely. So everybody loves it. But this is just in case if you have no other ideas and you want just a custom basket, Publix and Fresh Market does it for you.
Love
Thank you.
One more thing. Sorry, going to throw this in real quick. Tiffany and Joe, please don't fill out the poll because you're hosts, so you cancel it. Please don't do that. I'm going to share the poll again because I would like to get everybody's opinion on that one. It is important for us as putting this together, so it should launch right now for everybody. Please don't anybody click end poll, which if you're a host and you see end poll, don't do a thing to it, please. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. Carry on. So if we're going to be quiet for a second.
Oh, no, Jessica had a question. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Jess.
Hey, so regarding the poll, I did put add more, but I don't think you need like more than 5 mornings a week. I put add more because I like the idea of an afternoon one for my West Coast agents.
100%. That's terrific. We'll probably go a little deeper. Basically what we're doing, and this is just shameless, and I don't mind saying this, we want to make it exactly right for the vast majorities of us. And how can we add more value and more improvements to our real estate business? So for you guys taking that just a couple of seconds, thank you so much for being our partners. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everything you do, for being here, for being engaged. You all are freaking awesome. And I love every one of you. And I am eternally grateful for your positive energy and your support and just everything about you. Don't ever forget it. You are amazing. That's right. I'm pointing right to you. Incredible. Thank you. Deep. Love you, man. Grow some hair. Just saying. Me too, dude. I'm right there with you. Thank you guys again for your feedback. It really does mean a lot to us. God bless you.
Hey guys, I heard that castor oil and coconut oil mixed together and you massage it in your head, like it makes your hair grow.
George, please let me know if that works.
I will.
Please let me know, George.
Yeah,
I
I got
was
you. I
gonna
got you.
I was
I
gonna
may
say,
actually-
Laura,
I should
does-
go now because I've got to go get
Steve-
castor oil.
Does Steve do this? Because we need to know that before the guys go out and try to buy
No,
this.
no, no, no.
Steve hasn't done it yet. So we
Steve,
just
and
heard
Steve,
this
let's-
on Sunday.
Let's call
So-
this out, since we're pretty much going right into after party at this point. Steve is way too good looking bald to ever try and have hair on his head. I mean, he just looks magnetic, doesn't he? I mean, he's like dynamic. Hope he's not
That's
listening.
why I
because-
got with him. Hello.
Right.
plus that accent. Come on, geez.
Right, right.
Any
guys are
additional
awesome.
questions, guys, before we take this into the after party? Nope, going once, going twice. Boom.